Hey, good day, and thanks for joining me here at Cedar Creek Homestead. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I haven't done a lot of videos lately. I've mentioned that in the last 2 or 3 videos. You'll probably hear me repeating that, but I apologize for that. I've just kind of been overwhelmed, and so kind of brings me to today's topic of what does a homesteader, farmer, rancher, whatever you want to call yourself. There's differences between each one, but all three of those categories, whether you're a homesteader, rancher, farmer, and I consider myself all three in one, what do you call yourself? And what it doesn't matter, but it's what do you do when you get a day off? And that's kind of a trick question. It kind of sounds like on them jokes, like why did the chicken cross the road or something like that. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know as a homesteader you ever get a day off, or a farmer or a rancher. I know some of them take days off, and I have to make myself every once in a while. I don't know if I ever take a full day off, but sometimes I make myself take some time off and go fishing or do something to enjoy life, because life goes by quick. Now, I'm going to tell you though, I love homesteading. I love farming. I love ranching. I love doing what I'm doing, even own my own business, and I'll have to work off the farm here. And I love that too. I love working off, and my job that I have is around here local. I mean, but I have to work away from the farm. But I really like that too, and I enjoy this life that I have. So I don't really need to take big vacations or anything, but every once in a while I'll slip off. I haven't this year yet, but every once in a while I'll slip off and go fishing. My son's been asking me, in fact, if he's watching this video, if he happens to watch it beforehand, I do plan on, I'm really serious this year, I'm going to go fishing with him. He's already been, he hadn't done very well yet fishing, and I like to get out and fish. It's going to tell you today, my nose is a little runny. No, I don't have coronavirus. But the trees and stuff here are starting to bloom out. There's some Bradford pears up this lane here at this place, and they're blooming out, just starting, and they're not full bloom, but they're coming out, and I think all that in the air, plus kind of cooler mornings. It's in the 50s today. I'm a little overdressed, probably a little warmer than I needed to be today. But you never know. You get out, yesterday morning was warmer than this morning, but the wind was really blowing, and out of the north, so it kind of chills you to the bone, that old north cold wind. Now today, it's just super calm out. It is cloudy, and it has rained a little bit. When I got out this morning early, there was wet on where it had rained a little bit, and it looks like we could get some more rain today. We've actually right now been at a dry spell. We've had about 12 inches of rain the first 2 months of this year here where we live at, and that is a lot of rain. And for the first 8 weeks of the year, January and February, and they're predicting a lot of rain this spring, that we're going to have a very wet spring. But for the past few days, 7 or 8 days, we have had a little bit of rain, but it's been little small rains, like, quarter to half inch, no big rain. So things are kind of drying up and looking better here. Plus stuff's greening up. That helps, slow the runoff and things down as you get some ground cover more, and so that'll be good. But they're predicting that we have a chance of perhaps flooding and stuff this spring as the long-term forecast. I hope that we don't have the flooding, but I hope we have plenty of moisture to make the gardens grow. I've been getting my garden ready. But getting back to that, if you homestead or ranch or do anything like this, you're busy all the time. I mean, you always got something to do. You mark one thing off of your list, and you got a half a dozen more. And I usually, around the first of the year, will make me a list of projects that I want to accomplish through the year. And I like to look back at the end of the year and see if I have accomplished those, and also throughout the year just kind of check it. But I also like to see other things that I got done that maybe wasn't even on my list. But this year I have not gotten a list. I've got one mentally, but I I always feel like if you write it down, it's the best. But I can tell you, I've got so much going on. Our business this year was really good, even through the winter months. Now we're starting to get caught up now. Usually March is a month that is kind of neutral. But so far this year, the past 12 months, we have done a lot of business. It's just me and my son. We work together, but we have had a tremendous amount of business. And I praise the Lord for it. I'm thankful for it. In fact, we had a business where we had several employees up in Arkansas, and we never, with several people, did the volume amount of money work that we've done here now. So I'm very thankful. It's word of mouth advertising. It's just going very well, and I thank God for it. But also, when all that's going on, we have chores and projects to do here on the homestead. And if you are homesteading, farming, ranching, you've always got projects. Now, I know people who live in town that they live in an area. One guy I know, he lives in an area where they mow his grass and everything. It's a gated community. I know several people that live in this type of area. Some have to mow their yard. Is about the only thing they have to do. I know a man sold his farm here and moved to one of the neighboring cities here, and he one of the greatest people you'll ever meet, one of the greatest people that's ever drank water, I suppose, that I know of. But he just really good, him and his wife. But they sold out because thought he was getting too old, and he's like 90 years old, so I guess he was kind of getting a little years on him. But he sold his place, made a good profit off of it, and they moved to town, and all they have is a little bitty piece of property, like a lot with their home on it. And he's always worried about stuff too. And he held on to one of his tractors and brush hog, and I had called checking on him some time ago, a year or so ago, and his wife said, well, he's out right now brush hogging, and said he asked if he could brush hog these. Said there's 4 or 5 acres behind our home that they're going to develop, but they let it grow up, and said he asked if he could brush hog that for free, just to have something to do. So kind of think he should have held on to his farm. But I understand if you're in your 90s, it's probably, I'd say he's probably 94, 95-year-old now. He's was 90 a few years ago and still driving and going. I think they still drive. They just don't come down here much. First he'd come and visit down here, but he's quit doing that. But I just thinking, if you got a farm, there's always something to do. And if you're going to raise things and preserve your own food and be self-sufficient, you've always got something to do. Now, I enjoy this lifestyle. If I didn't enjoy what I'm doing, I'd be in trouble, because like raising cattle, there's not a whole lot of profit in it, and the prices go up and down, and you put in a lot of hours that you never get paid for, basically. If I do, it's like a very low-wage job, but I love it so much. I love raising cattle. This time of year when the calves are dropping on the ground, I just love that. And you don't know what you're going to get. We had a little heifer born the other day that was, she was a black, Montney face, white, splotchy black face, what we call Montney face, little calf, and it was so cute. I come home and got my wife. I said, get in the farm truck with me. I want to take you down here and show you. And she said, oh, I wished I could get it and just pick it up. It's so cute and stuff. Of course, the mama, she's a little protective. She is a first-time calver, heifer that this was her first baby, and she's pretty protective, which is what I want. I want them to guard that baby with their lives. But and then we got things going on, it keeps us hustling, bustling. So when I get busy, I the YouTube videoing is something that I'm going to drop off of a little bit when I'm extremely busy. I'm trying to adjust things and work things where I can do these videos, and I don't think I'm going to be on a schedule this year. I'm going to kind of change up. I was trying to do Porch Talk on Tuesdays, and trying to do cattle talk on Thursdays, and making sure I had the videos out and everything. And what I'm going to try to do, I think, this year is I'm just going to put up videos whenever I feel like it. It may just be little short videos here and there. I almost just completely stopped, and I just thought, boy, I'm just overwhelmed. I got so much going on. But several of you have emailed us, and some just different things commented on different videos, wondering where we are or are we okay. And I tell you, that just blesses my heart, and I appreciate it so much. I've tried to comment back to the ones who ask and tell you that we're fine and we appreciate you checking. And we're going to get back into this video thing. It's kind of like when relatives don't check in after a while, you kind of get worried about them. And I understand it, but we're all been fine. My wife's fine. My son's fine. Our farm's fine. Everything's going great. And God's just richly blessing us, and we're so thankful. We have our concerns as always. This coronavirus thing that's going around. It's kind of concerning. And the political thing is concerning. You got people wanting to be that's covetous or envious, whatever you want to call it, that are wanting to institute communism and socialism. And really our country is sort of like socialism in a way, in that we have systems in place that help those that are down on their luck. Folks that, you can't, you get sick and you can't work. We got this Social Security disability. It doesn't pay a lot, but at least you can get something instead of nothing. And it also weeds out those that are able to work. I hear people all the time tell me they wish they were on Social Security disability, and the thing is, they go fishing and hunting and doing everything they want to do, and I like, you can work, and if you can work, you need to get out there and work. Now, if you can't work, and I know a boy that got hurt in a car wreck. It wasn't his fault. He got injured. Is in a wheelchair now. He used to roof houses. He's just a really good person. And he got in this bad way and almost died. In fact, they thought he would die. But he is paralyzed from the waist down. And he had to get on disability. I believe the insurance may have given him some money, the person that was at fault, whatever. None of my business on none of that, but I believe he did get on disability, and he has an income, but he wants to work so bad, and he volunteered to mow our churchyard, and the church would pay him a little bit to mow it, and he fell off his lawnmower. Actually, his lawnmower, he was on one of the drainage ditches near the church, and his mower slid down and actually turned over on him. And it could have been very tragic. He could have actually drowned. There was water running in the ditch and stuff. Well, we told him later, just mow what you can. We'll take care of the rest. He don't have to do it at all, but he wants to work. And it's sad when people want to work and they can't. And you got people who are more than able to work. And, the president gets faulted for that, because he said on the food stamp program, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP they call it now, that if you were able to work, especially if you're a male and you're able to work, they expect you to go to work, and I agree with that. And I believe that elderly and people that are having a rough time, maybe we could even help them a little bit more on their food substance. But some people are just raised on welfare. They're raised on assistance. They don't know any better way. I've got relatives that's that way. They've been raised this way. Everything's been a handout to them, and they just don't know how to go to work. And I don't know how to deal with people like that, how you handle it, but I don't think turning our country into a socialist country. I'm not going to work here and give everything away to people that can work. They can get up and go. I know people that sit at home. I got relatives that sit at home and they watch TV all day, and one of my relatives went to all kinds of schooling just over and over, continues to go to college. They paid him to go to college. They paid for his college, just on, and he has just continued. He's the smartest relative we have, but he won't work. I don't know what you do for those kind of people. I say you just do without, and you'll learn to go to work. You get hungry and stuff. The Bible says if you don't work, you shouldn't eat, and I take that pretty serious there. But you got Bernie Sanders and these yahoos that are out there promoting socialism and communism, and the young people, it's really catching on with them. And I think it's because the young people, the younger you get, the more they've had stuff handed to them. My son, he gets out and works. He works every day, Monday through Friday. He likes to have his weekends off. Nothing wrong with that. He likes to get off by 5. He likes to get a decent time. That's okay. He's enjoying life. But he works. And I'm going to tell you something, though. His age group, a bunch of them do not want to work. They weren't raised working. When he was a youngster, I made him do chores. I made him do things. If he wanted to make money, he had to work to earn it. We were better off when he was growing up, or I could have done more at times for him than what I did, handed it to him. But instead, I made him earn it, and he would mow yards for people and do things, and I think it's helped him to be a better man. But these young people today, a lot of them that I know, don't even have to dump the trash. They don't have to take out the scraps. They don't have to do anything but just sit there and mom and daddy just hands it all to them. And there's a lot of people, they get started working, they start paying taxes, and it's their first job, and they're 30-year-old, and they got out of school, and they were told, we need a socialism, we need all this stuff, and they get out in the world, and they get angry because they have to actually work, and they have a boss that can fire them and all that. If you ain't doing your job, you deserve to get fired. I'm sorry, you just do. And business is business. If a business needs to downsize, if a business needs to go to another country, that is their business. That's why they have their executives and leaders in place, and that's just how the real world goes. But the point is, if you want to work in America, you can be very successful. I know people that have started just little businesses, but they worked at it and become very, very, very successful people, and now are very well off. But now you got people like Bernie Sanders says, well, that's unfair. It's because those people are envious and they're covetous of others. And I'm going to tell you, I know some people around here that are kind of well off, and they kind of hold their nose up high at people like myself. Sometimes, though, I have thought that they owe so much money that I'm probably better off than they are in a lot of ways. But I don't care. They can do that if they want to. I've had some that's kind of held their nose high, kind of thumb their nose at me is what we call it around here, thinking there's something. And then after you get to know them, find out that's just their personality. They're really not a bad person. Then there's people around here that ain't got doodly squat. My folks used to say they didn't have a pot to pee in. You ever heard that term? Well, they're like that way, but yet they think they're something. And if they was as rich as what they think they are, they'd be off. But I ain't got time for that junk. I don't have time for those people. What you see is what you get. I'm going to be old Howie day in and day out. I don't mind to lend a helping hand when I can. I don't have tons of money just to hand out to people, but there are times that people need a helping hand. Sometimes it's not just money. There's other things you can do. We have know a lady that is kind of having a rough time financially, and she's a widow and stuff, and we bring her eggs, and she's so appreciative of the eggs. That saves her money at the store from buying eggs, and she really eats a lot of eggs, and she's so appreciative of it, and I'm thankful that. It's just one example. There's things you can do. We give away produce and stuff in the summer when we have it to those. Now, we got some folks that, they could go raise their own garden. They got the land, they got the resources, but they're just lazy and don't want to do it. I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for them type of people, but it is what it is. I'm going to live my life and go on, but changing our country to socialism just be crazy. It's kind of funny right now. You see some Democrats coming out now and speaking against Bernie Sanders, and they're trying to get Biden or Bloomberg, one of them, up. They're more moderates, and especially Biden probably. I don't know Bloomberg, how moderate he really is, but he was a Republican, and now he's claiming to be a Democrat, and I think it's because he wants to be president so bad, and he's got money, and he thinks he can buy it or whatever. But the thing is, they're trying to get away from that. They realize that socialism won't work in America. I think one thing they realize, they will lose big time the presidency if they run on total socialism. And right now, that's the only thing they got going for them is socialism, communism type stuff. That's all that the opposition to Trump, that's all they have going for them. So, and beating Trump, that's their number one thing. Beat Trump, and we're going to give everything free. And people that have got any common sense, any knowledge at all, know there's nothing ever free. One time we were in Branson, and these people said, had a booth set up. You ever go to Branson, Missouri, don't stop at those little booths. But I didn't know. It said free tickets to Dolly World, whatever it is. Dixie Stampede, that's the name of it there in Branson. It's free tickets. So we were, close on money and stuff, trying to save money. I said, hey, I'll just go over here and get me some free tickets. Well, you bought 2 tickets from them, and you got the third one for free. I think's how it worked out. There was some kind of a little gimmick going on. And I believe we got a discount on the other tickets. But you had to show up the next morning before you got your free ticket and had to go on a tour of timeshares. And I went ahead and signed up to do it. And during the daytime, we went down there to Dixie Stampede. And my wife said, why don't you cancel out on that deal? I hadn't actually paid no money yet. And so she's just cancel on that. Forget it. Let's just buy tickets for me and you and our son. He was a little feller then. Said, we never get away, and we finally get a chance to get away, and we got to go to something that you're not going to buy no timeshare, because we come up here, once in a decade. So I cancel out on that. But it was a trick. Nothing is ever free in this life. And when the government says they're giving you something, they ain't got nothing to give. The government don't have anything to give. They just take and redistribute wealth, and what they're doing is stealing from me, and they're giving to somebody else. Nothing's ever free. And all these programs they have, all the different stuff going on is taking other people's money and giving it to others. And sometimes it's needed. Don't get me wrong. There are times it's needed. We got veterans around here that they fought in foreign wars and were injured, and some their whole lives have been devastated, and we got some now that's worked all their life. We got a little old man down here that he's in his 80s. He's worked all of his life with a medical condition that he believed was caused, they believe, from Vietnam or one of those, Korea or Vietnam, one of those wars. And so now he's getting something for it. I think that's good, and that's a nice thing to have. But we can't all get that, because we didn't all earn that and deserve it. What we do deserve to get is our Social Security at the end of our journey at 60, 65, whenever that retirement time comes and we start to slow down. It's nice that you can have Social Security. We pay that in. That's not a welfare thing. That is actually an entitlement and a benefit that we pay into that should pay for itself over the years. But anyway, when you add all that stuff in and you get all this stuff going on, it can be heavy and weigh you down at times, and trying to work and take care of your place, it gets busy. We're going to try to do better this year with videos, and I just want to say thank you to all of our loyal subscribers that watch our videos and stuff. And I've had some videos that a lot more people's watched than what are subscribed, and other videos that way under the amount of subscribers. But I do appreciate you watching. I appreciate you subscribing. If you're not subscribed, we'd love to have you, and it kind of gives me fuel to run on here on video, and if people are subscribed. I appreciate the comments too. Like to know what you're doing around your place. But as far as doing a porch talk every Tuesday night like I was at 7, I'm going to plan on airing all of my videos at 7 o'clock when I air them. It's getting busy now. Springtime, we may air a video every night. It might just be little short videos. May not sit down and actually do a porch talk, but when it's pretty like today, and I just thought, hey, I got my camera with me. I'm going to sit down here on this porch, and I'm just going to do a little talk and kind of fill you in a little bit of what's going on around here. Just a little bit. I didn't touch a whole lot on this virus that's going on, and I actually feel like it may be overblown a little bit, no more than what has died or that's been infected. But I also kind of wonder sometimes, just my thought, that maybe over there in China, nearby that area, they say there's some kind of a place where they experiment with viruses and things, and chemical warfare and stuff like that. That Walloon, China, whatever they call it. But over next to that epicenter, I have thought it could be that something got loose, and even our own government may not be telling us the full blunt of it, and maybe the Chinese aren't. And it is something to be concerned about. But if you're into homesteading, prepping, that type of stuff, you should have already been prepared. You should have already had you some masks. You should have you some gas masks if you can get them. People laugh at me for that. My son laughed at me when he seen them. I got them in a case. I got like 6, I think it is, gas masks, and they got a little canister that screws on them. If we had to have them, I hope we never do. You never know. We have some of those little surgical masks put back so that we don't have to run out and go buying them and cause a shortage for those that need them. We already got some stuff prepared, and you should be prepared for whatever. And you know, having a little food, having a little water, being prepared, I think just makes common sense. And if you live out in the rural areas, you should have learned this by now, that you should be prepared. And prepare for the worst, but hope and pray for the best. And hey, we appreciate you watching today. May God richly bless you. And we'll see you next time here at Cedar Creek Homestead. We're gone.